All right, to sum up a 10-minute video in 2 seconds, I recommend the set that I'm going to be showing you today. I know that that's bad for the algorithm, but I don't care because I hope, first off, that I'm just passionate enough, just enough to keep you guys engaged for a few minutes. I bought a set off of AliExpress. I actually bought this a while ago. It's one I've had my eyes on for a long time since I was made aware of it for one specific piece. We'll get into that. But it's just a fantastic build overall. Let me just go ahead and show you the set itself. It is this guy right here. I'm not showcasing his weapon just yet, but we'll get to it. He has one of those too. And the build is cute, right? It's this sort of chibi Gundam mecha thing. I don't know exactly what the terminology is to describe this, but it is neat, right? And I specifically bought it because one piece caught my eye. You can probably tell which piece, right? I've talked about on this channel what my favorite armor piece from Bionicle is, and it's this one right here, the Vorox armor. So in a lot of ways, this was sort of my dipping my toes into the water of this brand. I don't know the specific name of the brand, but I will leave a link for this in the Discord and in the description as well. And there's already links for it on the Discord, but I'll just kind of refresh that or pin it, whatever, right? But I say that this was my sort of standard of quality measurement because I'm so familiar with the original one from Lego. This one right here in purple does not come from Bionicle, comes from Hero Factory, but close enough, right? And so I knew it probably wasn't going to be identical, but what was the quality of the piece going to be? I wanted to look for the quality, and I was very impressed by the quality of this piece. Because yeah, although it's not exactly identical to Lego's, it's more than usable, more than close enough, and it's kind of doing its own thing. It's dissimilar in a way that I can respect, right? It's not that it's bad quality, because it's absolutely not. There's no flashing or bins or, you know, extra plastic or anything like that you have to worry about. It's a perfect piece. That's not what I was worried about. What I was worried about was the flashing or was bend marks, scratches and things. And it's worth noting that one of the reasons that this piece came out so flawless on both sides of the set, because the set comes with two, is that it's not polypropylene. It's not the same soft plastic that this one is made of. This one has some scuffs and scratches on it, but this one doesn't because it is ABS, or at least a hard plastic like ABS. I can't speak to exactly what material they use to make these. That said, though, they're fantastic pieces, and knowing now that the attention that they put on a piece like this was well spent, I was having good hopes for the rest of the set. It's also worth noting, too, that this piece does come in a desirable recolor. This is bright green, indistinguishable from Lego's bright green. This is an official Lego piece right here, and I love that because bright green saw 0 pieces in Bionicle Generation 1. It did see use in Generation 2 thanks to Liwa, the Protectors, etc. But G1 Bionicle did not get it at all. It's also fun to see it in bright green here because Liwa Uniter uses that exact piece but in silver. So it's kind of all coming full circle, right? However, the set itself has a lot more to sort of claim to fame, if you will. The build of it is actually quite good. It's fairly straightforward and fairly easy to consume. It's a fairly, it's not a super time consuming set to build. That's what I wanted to say, but it is satisfying to build. And you can tell that they put a lot of love into the design of the set, especially the head, which we'll get to because it does deserve its own little separate segment on the video here. But I did find some really fascinating aspects about the set. For one thing, it comes with Borak eyes in that bright green color too. This little build right here for this mouth sort of, I don't even know how I can show you that, but this little mouth area underneath this Speedor's shell, great use of that part, by the way, on the front of this to give you a sort of like mouth. It almost looks like a turtle head there. Maybe they're trying to insinuate a dragon. I don't know. We'll get to that too. But overall, it's just phenomenal building, phenomenal engineering. And as far as I know, with the exception of like 1 or 2 pieces in the set, it uses only existing Lego pieces. And that's something I can really appreciate. I don't mind when knockoff sets go out of their way to make their own pieces, don't get me wrong, but it is nice to see when it is done proper, them try and actually use the pieces that exist from Lego themselves, right? Now, that said, you'll also see that there's something else sort of screaming for attention on the set too, and it's this big Corona thing, which I don't know what else to call it, so I'm just going to call it the Corona, but it has so many Technic pieces in trans orange. I don't know if it's a match for Lego's trans orange, modern trans orange, current trans orange. I don't really care, honestly. Just the fact that we get pieces like that, a piece like this double socket, the Glatorian neck, which are totally usable. And it's also worth noting too, you got some other pieces in here that are desirable. Like that ball joint. That ball joint is not yellow, it's Keat orange. And that's fantastic. Yellow would have been a recolor for the piece too, don't get me wrong. But it is really nice to actually see a brand that can match or very, very closely match the Keat orange color, because I've seen some other knockoff brands sort of struggle with that one. And I want to say that this one is 99% of the way there. You know, it is beyond what I would consider Lego quality close, you know? Not to say it's perfect. It's definitely a little bit more distinguishable than the green, but the green is indistinguishable. So that's a low bar, I guess, right? That said, though, you get a bushing in the set in that trans orange color, but notably, you get this right here. I was curious about this. Was it going to break? This is the fragile design of double socket introduced to Bionicle, not in 2008, because it's actually the refurbished version from 2010, I want to say. Very baffling to me that Lego started designing these, noticed they were breaking, then redesigned it with the same design profile. I don't even know how to describe it. The good news here, though, is that this piece did not break and has not broken on me. I tested it. It's not just that I inserted the pieces once, said, oh, okay, they worked this once, because you could do that with the Lego ones too. Actually, I saw something I wanted to see. Stress marks. Why would I want to see that? Here's the thing. What stress marks insinuate, what they indicate rather, is that the piece is flexing, not breaking, right? And that's what you want to see with plastic. Ideally, you'd want to see nothing at all, right? But flex marks are much better sign than cracks, because cracks tell me that the plastic doesn't have enough flex to do its function, which Lego should have noticed in their playtesting, but I've made a whole video about that, so I'm not going to talk about it here. Point is, this is a lovely piece. The set does only include one, unfortunately, but hey, one's not zero, right? So I will take it. And it's nice to have a piece like this in this color, especially when you have the long double sockets in a color very, very similar to this as well, if not identical to this one. You also get the Glatorian neck in that color, and that's cool, right? So yeah, overall, lots and lots of pieces to love here. Some Technic 4 length. They even have the number 4 on the side of them, which many brands just get rid of those numbers entirely because they don't want to get, I don't know, copyright or something. Whatever the case is, it's a really fantastic set. The set does also include some extra pieces as well. For example, you get one of these pin bushing pieces used in that Corona in trans orange as an extra, but you also actually get one of these from the Corona itself as an extra in that trans orange color too, and you get 2 of them in red, not as extras, they're used in the set, but trans red. That's a good use for those parts, and those are, I think, desirable. Like, if you're somebody that likes to build, like, supercars and stuff like that from Lego Technic, those are really useful pieces for making, like, tail lights and things like that. So, lovely to see those pieces used on here, and many identifiable pieces used on the set as well. The gold here for these pieces, a brand new color for that as well, even if it is kind of the cheap-looking gold because it's a knockoff set. And knockoffs do tend to have a hard time matching Lego's pearl gold, but if you are somebody that likes knockoff gold better, I could see that argument. It's a very flashy, very metallic color, so I could see somebody really enjoying this color more than Lego's official pearl gold. I'm not one of those people, but I think you could absolutely make that argument. And speaking of gold, this is where you're going to find most of it, which is why I saved this sort of till the end, right? This build itself is just the weapon, which does clip into the hand, and it's got this dragon head on it. That is actually the only piece in the set that is of a softer material. It feels about the same as I want to say Lego's does. I will say it is the one piece I have an issue with, not because of the quality of it, but it is a piece that has a very subtle smell to it. It's not the worst by any means, and it's not like I can smell it from here. But there are some knockoff sets where you'll notice a smell from like hard plastic. This set doesn't have that problem, but this piece has, you know, a little bit of something, and I hope it kind of dissipates with time. We can only assume, right? I'll check back in if I'm, I don't know, dead in a month. Anyway, point being, though, it's a really fantastic design for the build itself. It was a little finicky to get the actual dragon head on there the first time because you got to orient these little spike pieces right. But overall, the actual build is quite satisfying. And the sword here in this trans green color is a new color for that piece. So again, lovely, lovely, lovely to see that here. And overall, it's just a really fantastic set. The other reason I wanted to make this video and the other reason I wanted to buy this set is because there's 4 of them available on the market right now. A green, black, blue, and red one, if I haven't said that already, but there are 4 more coming to the market soon. I don't know exactly when, don't quote me on that, but they got some really fantastic recolors on them as well, including recolors of the Hero Factory 1.0 foot in at least 2 new colors, potentially 3, potentially 4. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm just very excited. I'm very excited about it. And on top of that, I'm not going to get into more of it. I'm not going to spoil it here. That's another video that's coming in the future. Maybe we'll do another video where we take a look at more of the AliExpress sets, because there were more found today that have some really fantastic recolors too. I think I've just convinced myself. So if that's something you guys would enjoy seeing, let me know that down in the comments below, and let me know your thoughts overall on these guys. I don't know the brand name of these, so I do apologize for it. And may I just point out before I end the video, the lovely, lovely sculpt of this head right here. I definitely talked about the Slabon one and how it was built up with the sort of like 45-degree offset of plates, a very common technique used in mocking, but not often used by Lego. And this one does it, but it does it to such a good degree. Like the fact that it's built at this 45-degree angle, but then it has these side plates that are built at an offset is spectacular, and it's really worth appreciating. So recommend the set. Again, link for this, if it's not down in the description of the video, is pinned in the Discord server, which is linked down in the description of the video. And I do recommend you check that out, because even if you don't find this set there, or if it's out of stock or whatever the case may be, you will find others. It's a whole knockoff channel on the Discord server. So I hope you will appreciate that. And that's pretty much it. Last thing I guess to say is the instructions were easily readable, and yeah, that's it. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You can check out Instagram, Patreon, all that down in the description. Patreon obviously helps to make more videos like this. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.